Fear is one of the most powerful emotions we experience, and it can be used to control us. Did you know that fear has been shown to make people more likely to follow authoritarian leaders? A 2017 study found that fear can increase support for policies that restrict personal freedoms. Even more shocking, research from the University of California revealed that fear can alter the way we think, making us more likely to accept fake news. But it's not just a random side effect of fear. Politicians are fully aware of how to use it to their advantage. In this video, we'll explore the politics of fear, how it's used to manipulate voters, shape policies, and even change the course of history. From creating enemies to twisting the news, fear is a tool that affects all of us, whether we realize it or not. Stick around, because you'll discover surprising facts about how fear drives elections, influences media, and impacts our daily lives. Ready to uncover the truth behind the politics of fear? Let's dive in. Chapter 1: The Anatomy of Fear, How Politicians Harness Emotion. Fear is a powerful force. It shapes our actions, our thoughts, and even our vote. Politicians know this all too well. They tap into this primal emotion to gain influence. Take, for instance, Franklin D. Roosevelt's famous line, "The only thing we have to fear is fear itself." This quote isn't just about optimism. It's a recognition that fear itself can be manipulated. Fear has been used as a political tool throughout history to guide public opinion. When people are afraid, they often look for someone to trust, someone who promises safety. Politicians use this to their advantage. They craft narratives that play on the fears of their constituents. Whether it's fear of terrorism, economic collapse, or social unrest, they focus on what scares people the most. Research shows that fear leads to more conservative views. In fact, a 2017 study in psychological science found that people exposed to fearful situations were more likely to support policies that restrict personal freedoms. This is a potent tool in any political toolbox. Chapter 2: Crisis as Currency, Turning Fear into Political Capital. Political leaders often thrive during times of crisis. This isn't by accident. They know that in moments of fear, the public is more willing to sacrifice individual freedoms for security. After the 9/11 attacks, US government approval skyrocketed, not because everything was suddenly better, but because fear made people more compliant. Politicians capitalize on this by creating a sense of urgency. In times of economic downturn, for example, leaders push the narrative that urgent action is needed to avoid catastrophe. Studies have shown that during financial crises, people are more likely to support authoritarian policies. This strategy isn't just limited to the US. In Russia, Vladimir Putin's popularity spiked following the 2004 Beslan school hostage crisis. People were looking for reassurance. And Putin delivered. When a crisis strikes, the ruling party often becomes synonymous with survival. Fear keeps people focused on the problem, not the solution. When fear grips society, it becomes easier to pass controversial laws that would otherwise face resistance. Fear is a currency, and those who know how to spend it can rewrite the rules of politics. Chapter 3: Fear in Media, the New Political Tool. The media is a central player in the politics of fear. With the rise of 24/7 news cycles and social media, fear is now a commodity. A 2016 study by the Pew Research Center found that 62% of US adults say they feel overwhelmed by the amount of news, especially during times of crisis. This constant stream of information keeps people on edge. News outlets thrive on sensationalism because it drives ratings. The more fear they can generate, the more people will tune in. Politicians know this, and they partner with the media to amplify fears. Think about how often headlines scream, "crisis," or "danger." It gets attention. A 2019 report from The Guardian revealed that sensational headlines significantly increase clicks and shares on social media. Politicians leverage these media-driven narratives to push their agendas. They build their campaigns around fear-based issues, like immigration or national security. It's simple: fear sells, and it motivates action. What's more, social media platforms have accelerated this process. Algorithms are designed to show us content that triggers an emotional response. And nothing triggers emotion like fear. If you want to learn more about how fear in the media influences your decisions, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Chapter 4: The Politics of Othering, Creating Enemies to Gain Followers. One of the most effective ways to generate fear is by creating an enemy. This is called othering. It's the process of defining a group of people as different, dangerous, or inferior. Politicians have used this strategy for centuries. Think about how certain groups are blamed for social problems. In the 1930s, Nazi propaganda portrayed Jews as the enemy of the German people. In more recent years, politicians have used immigrants as a scapegoat. In the US, for example, former President Donald Trump often used the rhetoric of illegal immigrants to stir fear, suggesting that they were responsible for crime and job loss. This strategy works because it simplifies complex problems into something easy to blame. It's easier to hate them than to confront the systemic issues that create inequality. Studies show that people are more likely to hold negative stereotypes about the other when they feel threatened. When fear is high, political leaders exploit these fears to rally their supporters against a common enemy. The concept of othering has been used throughout history, but in today's polarized world, it has never been more effective. Chapter 5: Fear, Fake News, and the Digital Age. Manipulating minds in the 21st century. The digital age has transformed how fear is used in politics. Fake news and disinformation spread faster than ever before. A 2018 study from MIT found that fake news spreads 6 times faster than true news on Twitter. These false narratives often play on our worst fears. Politicians and groups with vested interests can exploit social media to spread fear and manipulate voters. In 2016, during the US presidential election, fake news stories about Hillary Clinton, such as the Pizzagate conspiracy, spread like wildfire. These stories weren't just lies, they were designed to create fear and distrust. The more fearful people became, the more they were willing to believe the worst about their opponents. In the digital age, fear isn't just about what's true. It's about what people believe. Misinformation is often shared because it aligns with our emotions and fears. In 2019, a report from the New York Times revealed that over 50% of social media users encountered false or misleading news stories. This false content often targets people's fears, making them more susceptible to manipulation. The digital landscape is a breeding ground for fear-driven narratives. Chapter 6: From Fear to Action, Political Mobilization in Times of Crisis. Fear isn't just an emotion, it's a tool for political mobilization. When people are afraid, they're more likely to take action. During times of crisis, this can mean everything from protests to voting for extreme political measures. A key example is the 2011 Arab Spring, where fear of oppression and hope for change spurred mass protests across the Middle East. Political leaders used fear to rally people to their cause, but they also used fear to control the narrative. In the US, fear has been used to mobilize voters as well. According to a 2020 study by the American Political Science Review, fear of terrorism has been linked to higher voter turnout in presidential elections. When fear is present, people feel a stronger sense of urgency to act. This fear-driven action isn't always rational. It often leads to hasty decisions and polarized views. However, in the right circumstances, fear can unite people under a common cause. From the fear of climate change to the fear of economic collapse, politicians use these emotions to rally people behind their policies. When fear transitions to action, it shapes political outcomes and public behavior. If you want to stay up to date on the latest political insights, be sure to subscribe. This is just the beginning of understanding the true power of fear in politics.